Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you great.
All right, all kinks worked out. This is I've been so excited too. I'm like, maybe this is just, I don't know.
Yeah, me too. But I just told everybody that
Your
you're
hair is
6 feet
gorgeous,
tall, am
by
I
the
right?
way. I love it.
You what?
I'm sorry, I said your hair is gorgeous, by the way. I just love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I was just telling everybody, I want to make sure that I'm right about this. You're 6 feet tall, right?
Yes,
So when
I am.
You what?
Yeah, there's a story behind that.
Oh,
I
there
was
is.
told to say that I was 5'11 3/4 because I suppose that wasn't as popular or acceptable to be 6 feet. And I remember the runner-up was able to say, "I'm the tallest girl at 6 feet." We were the exact same height. You can see it in when we're standing there
That
together.
is
We're
so
the exact same
interesting.
height. So
Wow, and
it was
that's crazy. I
interesting.
mean, I think that makes you one. Yeah, I think that makes you one of the tallest Miss USA. So I think like Nana Merriweather was like 6 feet or 6'1" or something. And there obviously have been many very tall Miss USAs, but I mean, 6 feet's pretty tall.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this or that. I'm gonna read these options off. Carole's gonna pick while Carole and I are talking about this, guys. Play along with us. Drop your choices into the comments. Here we go. All right, Carole, evening gown or swimsuit?
Evening gown.
You said evening gown?
Yes. Evening gown.
Well, actually, I was gonna say same, but like I love swimsuits. Swimsuit's always been my favorite. All right, ball
I
gown or
mine.
illusion
We can talk
dress?
about that later, but I didn't. Swimsuit was caused great anxiety for me,
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to
and
talk
not
about
because I
that.
wasn't fit. I
All
was an
right, so
athlete, but it was because that
yeah,
was
me
not
too.
the most popular physique. A more muscular or toned physique was not popular, so that swimsuit caused me anxiety. But the gown, I could feel elegant and pretty in it, not worry about my muscles or whatever.
Yeah, same. And I'm glad that I think there are many people who think about that, who think, that pageants aren't inclusive of, a number of different body types. And I think that concern is well founded. I'm glad that it started to change over the years because I think there are
Yeah,
many people who are like, oh, I'm too short or I'm too curvy or I'm too muscular, I'm too athletic. So I'm glad that, we've got some trailblazers like you that have like sort of changed that over the years. It's really good. Okay, next question. Ball gown or illusion dress?
illusion dress. They fascinate me.
Yeah, they are really fascinating. They're beautiful on stage too. All right.
Yeah, they are.
Interview or on-stage question?
Well, interview because you can get more in depth, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing like the on-stage question, but I will say interview.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, interview is much more relaxed, I feel like. Favorite interview question? So it's not really like a this or that. It's like a...
I don't know. Well, I will have to say it's not actually from Miss USA, but my interview question for Miss Universe on stage question. Well, you said interview, so never mind on that.
Oh,
That
no,
was
that
on
counts
stage.
too. That counts too.
It does count. Okay.
We make the rules, Carole. You and I, we make the rules.
It was, if you were a judge, who would you pick to be the next?
What did you say?
So instead of being very sad with myself for the answer that I gave, I'm going to make that my favorite question because it taught me a lesson in life.
Tell everybody what you said
Not
when
to
you were
say
asked
your
that
roommate.
question. Carole, I said, tell everybody what you said when you were asked that question.
So I said the exact same answer that the Miss Norway gave, which was to select my name. All the young women were beautiful and talented and very equally deserving, but I've gotten to know my roommate the most, being that we're rooming together. Exact same answer that Miss Norway gave, but that was not the answer. If you believe in like an instinct of, it was what was dropped in my spirit was to say me in the third person. But I said, oh no, that'll sound too arrogant and cocky. And I went with the roommate thing. So yeah.
Well, and I think that's a challenge.
Yeah,
well, I think that's a challenge that many women face nowadays. And now we feel like we can't be overconfident, or we can't talk about our own accomplishments, or we can't say like, I'm the most deserving without people thinking that we're arrogant. So
Right.
it's really tough. It's difficult. All right, next this or that question: red lip or nude lip?
Red lip.
I love it, and that's what you wore when you won too. Smoky eye or
Red.
gold shimmer?
Smoky eye.
Perfect. Pageant curls or bone straight hair?
Pageant curls.
Curls. Heels for your gown: pumps or a strappy shoe?
Strappy shoe.
Beautiful. Final question: chandelier earrings or stud earrings?
Chandelier.
A
When
true
you're this
pageant.
tall,
Yes.
you have to have something hot, you know.
Yes.
Can't have little, they disappear.
Exactly. Well, show us the earrings you're wearing today. I mean, this is in true pageant girl form. Exactly. I love it.
You gotta have something dangling, a little stones.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see it kind of matching my necklace, you know, just little dangling.
You cannot over accessorize as a pageant girl. You cannot. All right, so let's talk about your year. I mean, you dealt with a lot of issues, a lot of challenges. We talked about you being the first Black Miss USA, and that must have been an exciting experience. But you also had to travel with a lot of extra security during your reign. Why was that?
Well, it was only on the parade and at certain cities when I arrived, they would provide it. So I didn't travel with extra, just had my chaperone.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess being the first, there were some who were not happy with that and didn't think that I fit the ideal of an American beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And they voiced their opinions in letter or, email wasn't out yet then. So they were literally writing letters or making phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just said that out loud, right? The World Wide Web came out in 95 or something like that. So I was before that time.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they were sending not so nice notes and threats. And the people around me, the chaperone, the staff, they were, the MUA staff was very good at keeping me protected from most of the hate mail that was coming through.
Because you didn't know about most of it. They kept you.
So I didn't know about it until after,
Right.
I was like, literally, I was like, death threats? It's a pageant, people.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Well, and what's sad is
I'm just a human person with red blood, just like you. And
yeah.
why do you have such a strict view of what you think is beautiful? I can find beauty in anything and everything.
Yeah.
And it saddens me when other people can't do that,
Yeah, I agree.
In the sense of beauty, it's beyond just the surface. It's like looking into the soul of a person, or that kindness and that respect that they give you. I have seen some very beautiful people who had a very not so nice disposition and an attitude that detracted from their beauty and made them not look so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's unfortunate that you had that experience, especially because in another system, in the Miss America system, they had crowned Vanessa Williams in 1984. Right. She was the first Black Miss America, and so she was 6 years before you were crowned. And I spoke with her recently through an interview with Extra, and she had almost the exact same experience with having to go to events with extra security, receiving death threats, receiving threatening notes, having her team sort of keep some of that from her, not to scare her. And it's sad that some of the progress that we've seen over the years has been so slow.
Yes. But it's progress.
Exactly.
So I will focus on the glass half full and the fact that we are at least moving in the right direction.
Yes.
It's still very surprising that in this day and age, we are still having firsts. And that's okay. There's going to be a lot of firsts and a lot of things, but it's just like every time we have one, I'm like, wow, it took this long. We're still having firsts.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
And the fact that Michigan had 3 and, after not having any at all, and in a short, close span of time, and it took 20 years for an Arab American with Rima. It was 20 years from the time that I was crowned. So I'm like, it's still room for firsts. And we had Halima, who competing with the whole hijab and all these firsts that keep unveiling, and it's beautiful. And I'm excited. And I hope we keep having more firsts so that we can get to a place where we're like, that's not so surprising anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's sort of a given. And it's actually really cool and interesting that there have been so many firsts and milestones come from Michigan, because you were Miss Michigan USA. Kenya Moore, the second Black Miss USA, also from Michigan. Rima Fakih, who you just mentioned, who is the first Arab Muslim woman to win Miss USA, also from Michigan. So it's really, really cool that a lot of that has come from Michigan, very diverse place. So let's talk about your reign, other aspects of your reign. I was looking at a picture today, and it was a picture of you sitting on a throne with your crown and sash. Was that part of the telecast, you sitting on a throne after you win? Tell me about that.
So there were a lot of things that I wish they did not take away. I love the elegance of it and all, but even when the one year they had the piano, and you guys could go stand by, I like those little elements. It's nice to be serenaded. We still had the person singing. We would have the honor guard and someone to help, stand there and take your hand and help you, escort you away from the stairs. It was just, to me, that was an aspect of the pageant that made it super elegant.
Yes.
And it was such a beautiful thing. And so, they didn't do the throne that many years, but it was so funny that they had it for a few years.
Yeah.
And when I sat down on it, what it was, because I figured it out, is that I thought it was a real throne at first from afar. But it was a makeup station, armoire type thing. And the big round backboard was a covered mirror.
Wow.
And so if you've ever seen in the old movies where they're sitting down to put their cream on and do their makeup, they sit down at these it was the press section with drawers on either side that were elevated. So they put a cushion in the depressed section, and that's where you sit, and they covered the mirror, and that made that the back of the crowd. I mean,
oh my gosh! Well, but it's so cool that you guys had that. I mean, it was awesome to see, and you're right. I mean, it would be cool to sort of.
We even had a coronation of the
scepter?
the staff.
Yeah.
The scepter. The scepter.
That would also be fun to have. Might have one day. Just be like, I was Miss USA once. I didn't win with this, but I got it now. Where do you keep your crown and your sash now?
People laugh when I say in Mission Impossible case in the closet. Because they gave us this wonderful Mission Impossible. It's a black, when I traveled with it, they thought it was firearms, because it's that kind of case that looks like you would carry firearms. Yeah. And you can check it. You can't get on a plane with it, but you can check it. And the first thing the lady asked me whenever I come, or not the lady, but just any airline person, is that firearms? They want to know so they can escort me to do the right thing. I'm like, no, it's a crown.
Crown. I Miss USA. Don't you got the next
and my sash. And I love how it was all like in an egg crate inside. So my crown is sparkly. It looks like it was the first day they put it on my head.
That's awesome.
And my sash is still sparkly and white. There's no tarnish. It still sparkles. Like I don't have to do anything to it. It just sparkles. Like the case must be like when you have the little silver thing that can go in with silver. The little piece of paper. I don't know if it's an acetate or whatever it is that keeps like silver from turning.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So maybe that's embedded in the case somehow, because it's just never dull.
But you kept it in that case. That's really, really cool. Now, you said that one of the things you really appreciate or like advocating for at-risk youth and the Boys and Girls Club of America. How much of that work did you get to do while you were Miss USA?
Oh, that was the bulk of it. That and the Make-A-Wish was associated with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, working with the hospitals and children with autism. They didn't have a specific group at that time, but I worked with various charities at the same time that would come in and read to the children and engage with them and bring either stuffed animals, freshly cleaned and sterilized stuffed animals, take pictures. I let them put the sash on, and the most touching moment that I had, even in trying to come to grips with what difference can I make? I mean, here I am, I'm healthy, I can walk in here, and these children are fighting for their lives. And one of the mothers, when I left, I believe it was an answer to prayer, because I said, God, show me how this is meaningful. Mother left, and she was, stepped out when we were walking down to go visit another child, and she just hugged me, and she was crying, and I was like, what, did I do something wrong? And she let me know how she was just so overjoyed. She hadn't seen her daughter move and interact or smile like that. It's so big and genuinely so happy.
Mm.
She's in weeks, you know, just because of the battle and the medications and the illness.
Right.
And the fact that she sat up and she smiled with you and she took the picture and she actually was strong, grabbed the toy, you know, stuffed
Yeah.
animal and held it to her. It just, I said, okay. She just said thank you, because that right there was the best pain reliever, or of
And I'm
that,
sure
if
a
it will
really
last
important moment. And I'm
longer
so, so
than
glad that they
anything.
had you there advocating for, you know, children.
It
Now
was.
we've got
It
a
was.
ton of questions. People have dropped
Okay.
a ton of questions in our question box. So we've got time to get to at least 3 questions. We're going to jump right into those. You guys have put so many in here. I love this question. Carole, what is a funny memory you have from Miss USA?
Funny memory. I have so many. um, well, let's see. I don't even know if I can pick one right off the top of my head. It's even, well,
It's hard to think,
dancing.
especially with having, you know, such an incredible
One
reign.
of the things I did love about my reign was being able to do the USO tour.
Mm.
It was during the Gulf War,
Mm-hmm.
and even if I hadn't won, I still would have been on the tour, because we had to all audition and for the variety show, and I was already selected one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was during the practice, and we worked with Tony, who was the comedian MC, and I missed the line, the cue. I stepped on the comedic thing,
Mm-hmm.
the comedic funny. And I mean, just singing the wrong note. And I've had some funny moments, and they
Hey,
can
we
laugh
all
at
do.
me,
That's
and I
part of
can
being
laugh
Miss
at them.
USA. Yeah,
But
like run through. You've got so many experiences that sometimes they're funny ones. All right, there's another question here from Official Primroses. This person says, "What is the biggest difference between pageants in the late '80s and '90s and today?"
ooh, well, they definitely evolved. And as I was telling you yesterday in our conversation,
Mm-hmm.
that I see how so many of the women come already in their careers and so polished, like career-wise. So many more were right out of high school or right in college. You can see the difference in the age of the contestant, or the maturity of the contestant, or even the lifestyle of the contestant,
Mm-hmm.
because in the early 80s, most of them that were in there, they were either model. I still see a lot of models in the Miss USA
Yeah.
system. People, because in fact, I was doing the auto show, working the auto show circuit, and the young lady who had won Miss Michigan 2 years prior to me finally going out, she was a petite model. And she kept telling me after she went, it was so many tall women. You should do it. Your height is perfect, you know. So she was telling me my height would be a plus
Mm-hmm.
to go out for Miss Michigan, but for Miss USA. But that was, they were all models, and so I was modeling, and I thought, okay, well, it's another natural progression, even though I was in college. But now you see so many already going for their masters. They're in graduate programs and working in their career fields already,
Mm-hmm.
and they're so polished in that part. And then the evolution of the show itself, the pageant itself, and I believe it went from more debutante to more runway glamour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of how I see it a little bit more too, in terms of they did do the more ball gown type dresses, and they were real formal. Even the crown, it was the crown with the velvet in the top. I mean, that has
Which is so
evolved.
cool
The
to look
crown
at
has
as
evolved.
sort of a throwback moment too. But yeah, I mean, those are really cool changes that have happened over the years. I mean, especially to watch, from your win to the pageants now. We've got another question from Brashina Jewell, who says, "What was the least enjoyable thing about winning the title?"
The least enjoyable?
Mm-hmm. The least enjoyable thing about winning the title.
The high heels to the airport.
You were telling me about this, and you changed the game.
The high heels through the airport. They wanted us to be dressed to the nines, ready at all moments for a photo op. I'm like, I'm fine with that with the clothes, but I need some comfortable shoes to walk through the halls of these airports.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't always. Sometimes they had a cart, and a lot of times they didn't. But me being an athlete, as I was telling you, I didn't want to have to rely on a cart and feel like, oh, I want to be with the people, kind of walk among them and talk and all that
Exactly.
instead of, feeling I didn't need that extra, I guess, exclusivity or
You need to feel glamorous walking through the airport.
right,
Yeah.
right. That was the only way. I was like, look, we need a cart because I feel lazy if I ride in one. I don't need to, but these feet are dirty without the cart or letting me wear shorter shoes. So I would say that was the least part, enjoyable part was that. The high heels would travel.
Yeah. The high heels for the travel. All right. So now that you served as Miss USA, it's been 30 years since you've won, and you've accomplished so much, Carole. I mean, you were just telling me yesterday that you've got 3 books in the works, a children's book, a memoir, and a travel guide. Was that part of like one of your dreams?
It's a collaboration book.
Right.
Yeah, we were talking about the girls' road trip, ultimate journey to self-discovery, healing. And
exactly. Did you see yourself as an author? Is that something that, was one of your dreams initially, or is this something that has evolved since you won?
Yes. And the memoirs one and the children's book have both been in here for a long time. And I've been very slow and resistant to actually act on it. That was one of the things. And I had to actually, I need to apologize to any and everybody who was supposed to be affected positively by me releasing and sharing my story. And it was brought to my attention that you're like really being selfish. You have a story to tell and to share that can be uplifting and motivating and empowering. Sure. And I would tell myself, everyone has a story. But I realized that it's beyond and past the time to do that and to share it. So I'm just being obedient and stepping out and doing the steps that is necessary to do it, because I believe in my heart it will bless whoever does read it, and touch some hearts and impact some lives. So I just want to do the right thing with it. It was some healing that had to happen on my part to recount so many of the stories and to share and to be raw and authentic and not just fluff.
Exactly.
So I'm happy to be at that place where I can be vulnerable that way.
Yeah, and I think that so many people will benefit from hearing about your experiences. So I'm glad that you answered that call and will be able to provide, that information to people. We've got a ton more questions in the comments, a ton more questions in our question box, but we've got 2 here that I've seen a lot. One, so we'll finish with these 2 questions. One, what was your Miss Universe experience like, especially being so close to winning the crown?
It was a wonderful experience. I was a little bit tired because the travel immediately commenced with winning Miss USA. And I was traveling nonstop, and I was looking forward to going to Sri Lanka. And it would have been my first time, besides going to Canada, out of the country. And I was so looking forward to it when the political issues and around a holy time for them would not allow for them to do a live telecast. They had to switch to home front to get it together quickly. And that meant LA. And so I was a little disappointed to the fact that it was in LA and on home turf.
Right.
But it was a short notice turnaround, and that was, I guess, the only way they could do it was doing it in their own backyard. But the women that came and meeting all the different women from, no matter, even language barriers couldn't even keep us from communicating. It was wonderful, and I had never been exposed to that. That was my first time being around so many different women from different countries, different languages, different cultures and customs, and it was beautiful.
I'm so glad to hear that, especially that you guys, figured things out after you had to change locations. Okay, last question.
But being so close, I will say this: that was heart-wrenching. Is I wish they hadn't told me it was by 1/100th of a point.
1/100th of a point?
Let me think I just lost by 10, 20, anything, but not less than 1 point.
Oh,
that hurt.
I did not know that it was that close. I knew it was less than a point. I didn't know it was 1. Oh my gosh, that is very, very close. I can't imagine. But you were basically tied. You're basically tied. If we're rounding it, you were basically tied with Miss Universe. Okay, final question. This is a great question. What was that? What I really wanted to finish on. Anyway, so thank you to SMB Weller for this question. What advice do you have for girls who are aspiring to pursue the title of Miss USA?
Well, the best advice that I would give, not any young women, any young lady trying to go for any pageant, not just Miss USA, but any pageant, is to be authentically you. Know you, do you. No one can do you better than you. So I always say it's okay to polish it, but don't change it. You don't have to act or pretend or put on a facade to be what you think someone wants you to be.
Mm-hmm.
What we'll appreciate and love and will gravitate to, or speaking as a judge, because I've been judging many pageants over the years, what we look for is that person who is genuine and authentic with her passion and her purpose. So not plasticky and fake and over practiced.
Mm-hmm.
Practice is good, but when you practice to the point where it's mechanical, you lose the essence of who you are. And that's what we want to see. That's what a judge wants to see. So be you. Mm-hmm. Remember, you're not in competition with the next young lady. So there's no need to compare yourself to anyone else. Again, no one can do you better than yourself. So be you and shine bright. That is the best gift you can give to yourself and the judges. It's just to be you. Be in competition with yourself. Mm-hmm. Really feel the need to compete with yourself. Today I'm going to be better than I was yesterday. Today I'm going to be better than I was 2 days ago. So try to be your best self that moment in that day. And that's all anyone can ever ask of you. And that'll make you proud when you do that every time.
I love that. And there are tons of people in the comments that are saying great advice, best advice, dope advice. Miss you. Camille Simone says she misses you and you give the best advice. And that is an incredible advice. And I think it's something that people hear, be authentic, but I'm glad that you explained, as a judge, we can see it, we know what it is, and we want to see when you're being authentic, not when you're being, too
overly rehearsed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll call it that. So I'm not saying that they're being fake, but you have some coaches will teach that to that instead of encouraging the young lady. Yes, you find your purpose and you find your platform or whatever, and you can promote that, but don't over practice it till it's like, are you sincere? I shouldn't have to question it.
Right.
Because it sounded so mechanical and rehearsed, like someone else gave you a script to read. This is not your life.
Exactly. Perfect advice from the queen herself, y'all. Thank you so much, Carole, for joining us. Like everybody
Thank you for having me.
Incredible advice. It was so wonderful to hear from you. Congrats again on your anniversary, and thank you for just
thank you.
Be a great example.
I can't believe it. I was like, you're not even that old. You're not that age yet.
I'm getting there.
So I do have, if anyone wants to reach out, I don't know if you put it in the comments, but carolegist.com is my website. And I do have some a free ebook
Awesome.
For, tips, healthy living tips and fitness tips. So if they want to check it out, and they can come to my page and they can also receive a free ebook.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm glad you said your website. And y'all, if you can see the pinned comment at the bottom is Carole Gist's Instagram handle. It's just at Carole Gist. So thank you again. You guys, please follow her. Please reach out to her, read her ebook. And thank you again for being on today, Carole. Great to see you.
Thank you for having me. Bye, everyone.
See y'all. She's amazing. Oh my gosh, you guys. Thanks again to Carole for being on. Again, great advice. We'll be having another Instagram live soon with another incredible guest. So stay tuned. We'll be posting on the Miss USA page, and we'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.